folks, it's me, Donald Trump. We won, and it has a lot to do with the following guys. Let me tell you about something so huge, something they're all talking about. It's called The DUM Show with Matt Spear, and it's live every weeknight at 7 p.m. Eastern. This is the show that's redefining what it means to speak the truth in podcasting. No nonsense, no filters, just bold, fantastic commentary. Some say the best commentary ever. It's not funded by Russia. It's not funded by China. Oh no, this is 100% American energy right here. So tune in, watch The DUM Show on social media at The DUM Show or thedumshow.com, and let's make podcasting great again.
Thank you, God bless you, and God bless America.
What is going on, everybody? Yes, I'm wearing the frickin' Christmas sweater that Olivia's not wearing, even though we got it at the same time, opened it together.
No,
I'm not done at all muting you and saying, hey, let's go ahead and wear the Christmas sweater tonight. But no, I'm wearing the Christmas sweater. Somebody isn't wearing the Christmas sweater. Thanks a lot, making me look absolutely stupid, which isn't hard in front of a world championship boxer, Liv. Thanks a lot. What do you have to say for yourself? Your mic's back on.
I didn't know we were wearing the Christmas sweater.
Oh, well, I'm wearing the Christmas sweater. So
I can go change. I have no problem with
as long as you do it in front of everybody so the ratings go higher, I'm totally down. Welcome to the Don't Unfriend Me show. I am excited to bring you a little bit different of a show. This is one of our busiest nights. Tuesdays and Wednesdays always crush for us, so we expect it to be huge. My Twitter people, please do your magic. Get this out. We're back on YouTube tonight, thank God, because those commie bastards, whoops, is bastards? Is that French? I think it's okay to say. Commie bastards suspended us for a week for absolutely nothing. But we're here. What are we doing? We're talking to an amazing person, Homer Gibbins. He's in the green room right now. He's, I don't know, maybe some scotch, maybe doing his hair. I don't know, but he's getting ready. And we're going to bring him on here in about 30 seconds. Folks, we're going to walk you through the basic stuff. We're going to introduce you to Homer, and we're going to have a wonderful conversation. We might talk some politics. Tonight will be a lot about boxing, personal struggles, achievements, all of those things wrapped into one. So stick with us. We'll be back in about 14 seconds. Do me a favor, go to thedumshow.com, like, share, follow, subscribe. All the people who are here to listen to Homer, welcome. Thanks for joining the Don't Unfriend Me show. We'll be right back. Thanks for not wearing your sweater, Liv. Step into a Wimkin.
What's up, everybody? It's Ryan Weaver. I am on the Don't Unfriend Me show, otherwise known as The DUM Show, with host Matt Spear. You guys can find the show at The DUM Show on social media or thedumshow.com.
Adjusting transmitter output.
This is the Don't Unfriend Me show with your hosts, Matt, Roy, Amy, and Olivia. Geopolitics, military analysis, and election coverage. Coming to you live on all major social media channels at The DUM Show. Honest, direct, unfiltered. We can agree, we can disagree. Just don't unfriend me.
Kids are laughing because they haven't seen me in a sweater, like a dress sweater, in like 3 years, and I've lifted quite a bit since then. So I put this on, and like, my God, Dad. So
You're never gonna let me live this down, are you?
no, it's because I wore it. I mean, this thing is magnificent. I'm telling you, it's fantastic.
It's very soft.
So special show tonight. We're really excited. We got to do a couple housekeeping things. I know. That's always, you know, the part of the show that I don't like is the first couple minutes where we're going to tell you all about the ads and stuff like that. Well, we do it all ourselves, so it has nothing to do with any paid sponsors or anything like that. We do it because, well, we need to pay the bills. Liv, goal is up on the channel. What's the goal tonight?
$250.
$250.
Yes, sir.
It is up 250 cents. It hasn't refreshed. You didn't refresh.
It hasn't refreshed.
No, do it again. You got to reset the goal. Reset it and put a new goal in there, sweetie. While you're doing that, you're really on the ball tonight. If you would have worn your sweater, I have a feeling it probably would have been easier. I'm just saying, I just am giving you the truth. Oops, that's right over your face. I'm sorry. Let me go ahead and do it this way. Folks, you can go to thedumnews.com. We have a really good article, What Came First, the illegal or the egg, tonight. It's doing quite well. People find it to be quite astute and provocative. And, of course, I'm going to go ahead and toot my own horn. Okay, we'll see it. We'll see it in a second if it is. So there's the article. You can go over there. But while you're there, you can actually go to and type in thedumshow.com/donate. When you do that, it'll take you to the donate page, and you'll be able to see our goal here. Hopefully, right about nope. You're doing it wrong. Whatever you're doing, you got to reset. You got to kill the goal completely, and restart it and put it in because it probably expired. You can go to thedumshow.com, go to PayPal. You can go to our mailbox, and you can go to Venmo. And it's real simple. You just click on here on your phone. This is exactly what it's going to look like on your phone, whether you have an Android or Apple device. And you click on the old donate button. And from there, you can decide how much you want to give us. Usually we accept donations $10,000 and above, but we'll make some accommodations tonight so you can donate a little bit less if you want to. Awesome sweatshirt. I know. Isn't it awesome? Some of us have the courage to wear it on the show, unlike some people I know. Liv, how's that goal coming along?
It is reset on my end. I don't know what to tell you.
Did you turn the goal off?
Yes.
And then start a brand new one?
Yes, I just did that. I ended the goal. I redid it.
Okay.
And on my end, it says
hey, Liv,
0.
tell them about our special guest real quick so I can fix this for you.
Yes, our special guest is...
Well, no, you can't introduce him. Just name and how he got here, and then I'll do the introduction real quick.
Homer Gibbins Jr. is a champion boxer. One of our viewers, Mike, introduced us to him. So, and he's also watched the show. So we're very happy to have him here.
And has shared it immensely, and we appreciate that, absolutely. I am fixing this right now. It'll be up in just a few seconds, hopefully, and we can figure out why it's doing what it's doing. I don't know what's wrong. Don't know. It's not even showing up now. We're probably just going to skip this here if I cannot get this to work. Something's broken, Captain.
Something.
Hold on. Command V. Oh, that's why. Okay, so that, no, it's not that's why. Hold on. Copy. And I'm going to put this in here real quick, and then we're going to hit save. And it's not working. Liv?
Yeah.
You're going to have to tell people updates on the goal all night long. So, folks, we're at $0. $0. All right, let's get to it. Here's our introduction. We got to go ahead and do this because it's important. I don't have anyone on the show without doing an introduction. Liv, stop banging the table. Yeah. Today on the show, we have the honor of sitting down with a living legend, a man whose story embodies the triumph of human spirit. Homer Gibbins is more than just a powerful and strong human being, but he is a two-time world boxing champion. He's a symbol of perseverance, faith, and unwavering dedication. From humble beginnings in Griffin, Georgia, to standing toe-to-toe with some of the greatest names in boxing history, Homer has lived a life filled with grit, glory, and grace. With over 200 wins as an amateur, 46 professional victories, and countless lives impacted through his gym and mentorship, Homer's legacy isn't just about what he's done in the ring, it's about the hearts he's touched outside of it. He's a Hall of Fame inductee, a devoted mentor to young fighters, and a man of deep faith who has never forgotten where he has come from. Whether it's the thunderous roar of the crowd during his fight with Hector Camacho or the quiet satisfaction of helping a kid believe in themselves for the first time, Homer's journey is one of resilience, inspiration, and hope. But Homer's story is about more than titles or accolades. It's about the battles fought when no one's watching, the sacrifices and setbacks, and relentless pursuit of a dream. Today, we're diving deep into the life of a fighter who has never stopped swinging, whether it was for himself, his family, or his community. So grab your gloves, popcorn, whatever else you have, because we're stepping into the ring of this gentleman and the one and only Homer Gibbins. Mr. Gibbins, welcome to the Don't Unfriend Me show. It's wonderful to have you here. Thank you. Uh-oh, swinging. Is that because...
Matt, let me just say real quickly.
Yes.
That's an awesome sweater.
I appreciate it. Wouldn't it be nice if Olivia had one too? Because we could put you in the middle but no, not tonight.
Olivia makes a t-shirt look great. So, it's, but you make that sweater look awesome.
Thanks, buddy. I appreciate the checks in the mail. Mr. Gibbins, welcome to the Don't Unfriend Me show, man. I would love if you take a second, and I gave people the warm-up intro and the fluff and put the writing skills to use, but would love to give you a few minutes, tell everyone about yourself and the audience. I'm sure they have a ton of questions, so the floor is yours.
All right. Well, in 1976, I was a big wrestling fan. Loved wrestling. The move that was out was called the Brainbuster. And you got on the top ring rope and you jumped off and sailed through the air and headbutted whoever was on the ground. My dad happened to come home from doing construction, lay on the ground and watching some TV, and I thought, oof, this is the perfect time for me to practice the Brainbuster. So I got on the back of the couch and sailed off and headbutted him, and he's like, ah! So that was like a Tuesday night, and he said, tomorrow we're going to the gym. So Wednesday I went to the gym, and then I had my first fight that Saturday. So,
how old were you? You six years old?
6 years old.
Wow. Okay. All right.
Then
go ahead.
I started boxing as a kid. Through my, and then in 1980 we moved to Riverdale, and I went to the gym and met this guy by the name of Evander Holyfield, and he was my teammate, and he got to watch me get my first knockout when I was 12, 13 years old. I mean, I'm talking about a knockout when I hit a guy and the guy goes down, didn't get back up. Never had that happen up until that point.
When you were 6, I guess there's two questions I got immediately. Is did you understand the magnitude of meeting Evander Holyfield, whether that be at 6 years old or a little later in life, and what that meant? And the second thing is, when you're 6 years old, did you really know what you were walking into the first time you got hit? Would kind of like to walk through that and the fear aspect of it, of being 6.
Well, at 6 years old, the gloves were as big as your arm was almost. So you really.
So they were huge. Just kidding.
Oh yeah, I mean,
just kidding.
And so I've got pictures where I've got gloves up to my elbows. And as far Evander Holyfield was just another kid at the time. He was just I think he's 7, 8 years older than I am.
Okay.
So he wasn't Evander Holyfield.
Well, right, but later in life, I mean, was it like, oh my gosh, guys, look, it's like I spent time with this guy. But since you grew up with him, was it kind of like not that big of a deal when he's the heavyweight champion of the world. I mean, it's got to be like, hey, I knew him when he was this high. I mean, that's kind of cool.
Matt, he sends me a Bible verse every morning,
That's
and we
great.
go back and forth and talk. I was in a dentist chair about a year ago, and I was sitting there, and Evander called. And you don't put the 5-time heavyweight champion of the world on hold and don't
Hmm.
call back or don't answer the phone. So I said, I've got to take this call. And he saw his picture on my phone. He's like, was that Evander Holyfield? I was like, yes, sir. That's why I couldn't not answer the call.
Right,
That's
right.
pretty neat.
When you when you think about 6 years old, right? So
Yes.
you put those on. Did you have any idea how big of an impact boxing would have on your life? I mean, like when I was younger, first time I fired a weapon, I kind of knew I wanted to be in the military. It clicked for me. When you put those gloves on, was it like, you know what, this is something that I love, and I immediately have like a cathartic reaction towards it?
I never thought that boxing would turn out to be anything significant. I was an artist. So I mean, and I was dramatic. I loved the wrestling, that dramatic side of everything. So I never really thought of boxing being something that I would do as a living. And then in 1990, on a Georgia amateur boxing tournament, the Golden Gloves,
Hmm.
I fought underneath that night. Evander Holyfield was on the card as far as doing a sparring match for his upcoming title fight because he had turned professional. And his manager, Lou Duva, saw me on the card and he said, "Hey, you remind me of somebody." And I said, "Oh, who's that?" He goes, "Evander Holyfield." I said, "Well, we were both trained by the same trainer, so yeah, we kind of got similar styles." And he offered me his card and told me to give him a call, come up to Virginia Beach and train with him.
Hmm.
And that summer, I went up there to Virginia and trained, and I turned professional.
I think a
Pretty
lot of
neat.
people. Go ahead, Liv. What?
I just said that's pretty neat.
Yeah, it is. It is neat. There's a thank you for the donations, folks. We'll probably not interrupt too much, but we appreciate them. Have them come in. We love it. Thank you so much. We've got a couple questions from the audience. Liv, are you writing those down or no?
No, I was keeping up with donations.
Okay,
at the
cool.
moment.
Well, let's shift gears on that though. How if you can find your sweater? How old is Homer now? People want to know how old you are, sir.
I'm 54.
54 years old. It's probably still could take me down. Tina Savage, she's law enforcement and a good friend of the show. She says, Homer, I wonder if you know my brother-in-law, Andy Minsker. He was on the Olympic boxing team. Don't know if you know that
The
name.
name sounds familiar.
Yeah.
The name sounds really familiar, but I don't recall ever meeting him that I know of.
So Homer, being a world champion, obviously, and all the fights you've been in, and you know, there's probably a lot of rewards and accolades that come from that. But when you're looking at not introspectively, but looking out of like who your mentors and inspiration, younger and even now, who are some of the people who inspired you when it comes to boxers, besides the, you know, obviously the usual names? We understand Ali and Frazier, but was there a mentor that you had, somebody who you really trusted and learned something from outside of just how to use your knuckles?
Well, I was blessed to be able to. My father was a good man. He's still a good man. He taught me how to do construction and how to work on things. He had a construction crew, so I learned how to do, um, build walls. I learned how to frame walls. I learned how to sheetrock walls. His thought plan was, no matter what you do, you're going to be able to put food on the table no matter what happens.
Mhm.
And so that I try to instill that in my children as well. You're always going to be able to put food on the table. It may not be making the money you want to make. It may not be doing what you want to do, but at least you're going to be able to put food on the table.
Yeah. Um, Someone had a question, and it's okay to jump around a little bit. I don't want to make this a Barbara Walters special, but somebody wanted to get your take on the Jake Paul Mike Tyson fight. Did you watch it? And second, what's your take on it? And you have to speak honestly. You can't give me any of like IBF or
No,
World Boxing Association answer.
one thing about me, I speak my mind. I say what I want to say. I kind of come from that John Gotti perspective of, the only time you lie is when you fear. I don't fear anybody, so I'll say what I want.
Roger that. Okay, fair enough.
But Jake Paul and Mike Tyson is entertainment. It's no different than wrestling.
Yeah.
If that helps you understand.
Oh, yeah.
Was it scripted? I don't know. But I just know I saw Mike Tyson pulling punches.
Yeah, he did.
And we all tuned in to watch Mike Tyson destroy Jake Paul. That everybody wanted to see it over with.
Yeah.
But what we saw was an old man that was doing what an old man does. Get in position to hit and then not be able to be hit. And I don't think that there were so many contractual obligations that if he would have knocked Jake Paul out in the first round, he would have got no money. It was on a sliding scale, almost making sure that it goes the distance. And he wasn't going to win a fight that goes the distance. I mean, it was only 2-minute rounds. I'm only 4 years younger than Tyson, I promise. If anybody wants to come to my gym and get in the ring with me, you're not going to like the outcome.
Right. Yeah, I got to give Paul credit for one thing. He is a master marketer, and that's the one thing he's excellent at. And he got a man who was literally bankrupt $20 million, and I got to give him respect for that, and he didn't treat him like a punk. And Paul could have done some things to Tyson too, and he could have thrown some shots there. Mike left himself open, and I got to give him respect for that because he's not that way. He's a loudmouth, but a lot of that is just his brand. So either way, I'm with you. I no harm, no foul. I think the lover generation who adores Mike Tyson didn't lose anything. He didn't lose face, and the people who enjoy Jake Paul, I'm sure there's 2 or 3 of them, probably enjoyed what they saw. So.
Well, the thing, like, I always go back to back in my day in the 90s, we had Butterbean. Butterbean got your average couch potato thinking that they could fight.
Yeah.
And they tuned in to watch it.
Yeah.
So Jake Paul did, get the viewership that people would want to see. And he gave people underneath the undercard, like on the undercard, the girls. It was a great fight. The fight before that, the 2 guys before that was a great fight. The other fight was okay. So, I mean, he gave these people opportunity to make money and to be seen. So, I mean, I have to give him respect for that.
Yeah. Well, and boxing is kind of taking a backseat to the UFC, and unfortunately, it's not what it once was. And I'm sure you have an opinion on that. We'll dive into it, and we can talk about King and talk about what happened to the Sugar Ray Leonards and the Leon Spinks and the people who kind of, I was brought up, Mike Tyson, Evander Holyfield, etc., Oscar De La Hoya. And I just, maybe it's because I'm not younger or I'm not involved in it as much as I used to. Still an amazing sport, but it doesn't have the TV card or the pay-per-view card that it used to. I mean, do you agree with that? Or is it just because, UFC is such a huge marketing giant like it is?
Well, UFC, you have to understand there's the boxing that takes place, and then there's the business of boxing that takes place.
Right.
And like Evander Holyfield, I love him to death, but he was trying to promote boxing, and I asked him, I said, "Hey, do you have both fighters under contract?" And he's like, "Why would I have both fighters under contract?" I said, well, all the people that you fought up until you fought Ricky Parkey to unify the title were under contract with the Duvas. So whether they win or lose, the Duvas win. He was like, say what? So then he got off the phone and he called and checked stuff out. Then he calls me back and he goes, Homer, you know that everybody I fought was all managed by the Duvas? Or not managed, should I say promoted. They were all promoted by the Duvas. And I said, yeah, that's what I was saying. That's why you sign a contract, promotional contract with all people.
Yeah,
And
it's
Evander was just amazed by that.
well, and I think there's probably, like most things, first time you get into whatever job or whatever profession you're in, the honeymoon period is a beautiful thing, and then you start realizing, you see the warts and the ugly side of the business, which I'm sure you've had a chance to delve into. 15 straight Georgia Golden Glove titles, is that correct?
As an amateur, yes, sir.
As an amateur. So there's, like, dude, in itself, I don't think people understand how difficult that is. To win something once, let alone 15 times in a row, is you're encroaching upon generations, right? So it's like, not only are you the best in your generation, but you're taking on a younger and an older generation to boot. Is there one fight that stands out of all of those that is just like, was one of the toughest, the one that you're just like, dude, I still feel that fight and it still bothers me to this day, or anything like that?
Not really in the amateurs. I fought like all the military guys, the Army, the Navy, the Air Force, Marine. The Marines are the ones that they hold a couple wins over me. The only one in the armed forces that holds a win over me is the Marines. I was a little bit upset by that, but no, I mean,
They aren't.
everybody.
They're still talking about it to this day, I'm sure. Marines don't know how to celebrate gracefully. Did you fight any Navy guys at all? Any Seabees or?
Yeah, I fought the Navy. Usually, when I went to the regionals in Knoxville, Tennessee,
Okay.
that's where the
Okay.
Golden Glove regionals were held. We had fights, and I fought. I wound up fighting the guys in the Marines, fighting everybody in the Navy, the Air Force. Air Force guys were easy.
That's we're well aware. But you did that over 3 different weight classes. 3 different weight classes. I mean, how the hell do you do that? I mean, so
grow up.
are you just a glut? Are you a glutton for punishment or what, man? It's like, okay, I've won my weight class. Now I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to go into, because that's a different style of fighting, isn't it? I mean, when you switch weight classes, is it not a different style of fighting? You have to mix it up a bit, or no?
Well, my body was able to accommodate a little extra weight because I had lost weight to get down to where I was when I first started, and I wasn't a very big guy. But as you get bigger, then the punches get a little harder. The only one that I really didn't want to fight in was 147, and that was because the only reason I fought 147 as an amateur was because the guy I went to school with, me and him used to box together as kids, and the people got us going against one another, saying, "Well, if you fought Homer, would he win or you win?" And then he would say, "Well, I mean, I'll probably win because I'm bigger." And then they say, "Well, Homer, why do you think Homer would knock you out?" And he would say, "Oh, I knock him out." So then I had this grudge I had to overcome, and I had to teach him a lesson. And he's the guy I fought the night that Evander did the sparring match at the Golden Gloves,
Oh,
and
wow.
the reason I contract with the Duvas.
I just got one more, and I know Olivia's got some. You went the distance with Hector Camacho, right?
Yes,
And
sir.
and a lot of people, from me just doing a little research and watching the fight, including myself, believe that you won that fight. That decision
Yes, sir.
didn't go your way. How does that impact you as a fighter, as someone with pride? Is it I want a rematch right away, or is it like, you know what, this guy's a fighter and I lost, and that's the way it is? How do you look at, well, let me ask you this. How did you look at it then, and how do you look at it now as an older man?
Well, I mean, both times, I was just privileged to be in the ring with Hector Camacho, such a great fighter, such a very talented fighter. We got to be friends afterwards. I respected and loved him before I went in the ring with him. So, but when I was in the ring, I was going to try to take his head off.
Sure.
No different than when I fought Chad Broussard for the title in the IBU title. I mean, me and him were brother. We fought 3 times, and I love him to death. But I was going to try my best to hurt him. So.
Well, I think that's that's anybody who's done any type of, thank you very much, CJ Jenkins, for the donation. Anybody who's done any competitive sports understands that, they may be your brothers in the off season, but once you drop the puck or the bell rings, it's pugilism at its finest, right? I mean, whether it's a battle of words or you're throwing fists, whatever it is, you're in a competition. Liv, we got some questions from the audience.
Sorry, I'm still my throat. Yeah, Bobby Richardson would like to know what fighter you would love to fight that you have never had the chance to.
Well, I would have loved to fight Sugar Ray Leonard.
Oh, that would have been a fight, huh?
I love, Leonard was a great fighter. Camacho knocked him out.
Yeah.
So after he fought me, I just, I would have liked to have fought Leonard back in his prime and when I was in my prime. But, that's hypothetical as far as who can win. And everything depends on what you're going through at the time. I mean, if you're going through what a fighter goes through outside the ring, he brings into the ring. And that was always a hard part. Plus, with me, I was born with a neck condition. Found out that I should have never fought.
Let's go into that. I got a video of this, and I want to show everybody, so it kind of sets us up, and everybody's kind of whet their appetite to learn a little bit about you. But this video, my kids, I was setting everything up, and they came in, and the first thing they said is, "Wow, Dad, your sweater's awesome. Do you think Mom's going to wear one?" And I said, "I don't think she will." And then, no reason to flip me off. This is a man of God over here. You don't need to be disrespectful, Liv. And the second I put on this video, and they just stopped what they were doing and started watching. It's that powerful. Let's go ahead and watch that, and then we'll be right back with some questions. Here it is.
There's a lot riding right now. For this man, Homer Gibbons, he has been promised to fight with Jake Rodriguez for Junior Welterweight Championship. This could be a career maker or breaker right now.
1976, as a 6-year-old kid, I stepped in the ring for the first time. Never thought that I would box as a professional until I got to be in my 20s and then realized that this is where I was going to make a name for myself. Being on stage or being in the ring, fans cheering your name, it becomes an addiction where you can't walk away. I was making a name for myself. I became the World Boxing Federation Junior Welterweight World Champion.
We're going to see these two again. We may well, but whatever. Homer Gibbons burst on the scene here and gave a performance that indicates he's a guy that could be here to stay.
Next thing you know, the doctors tell me it's over. And I'm like, it can't be over. I was in the middle of a fight when all of a sudden I lost all feeling in my legs. X-rays showed that I actually was missing a bone in my neck, that I should have never stepped into the ring in the first place. But my dad raised me to believe we don't quit. I decided that we're gonna fight again. So in 1998, I fought through the pain. I put the gloves back on and fought until 2006 when I had another opportunity to fight for the IBU World Welterweight title. Knocked out Chad Broussard. Win my second world title.
I mean, you got the win anyway, but your performance was excellent.
Well, first of all, I'd like to give all thanks and glory to God above. Without him, this would not be possible. God helped me, I didn't want to stop coaching.
Over my 17-year professional career, I saw so many fighters leave the sport broken. Physically, mentally, spiritually broken. Thanks to God, I was able to achieve my goals and walk away with my head held high. My story is proof that anything is possible. Don't ever give up on your dreams. Understand that you're going to take hits all throughout your life. You're going to get knocked down. But it's only over if you choose it to be over.
Too clear to be mysterious, too calm and clean.
I don't think people understand what a debilitating injury actually means when your entire body is literally like the whole focal point of what you do, right? I mean, if you're a pianist, you can, write a concerto and you can write music even if you don't play the piano anymore. If you're an artist, you can still, talk about Rembrandt and see what the colors and what it smells like in the Sistine Chapel. But when you're a boxer, you probably can't describe what it's like. You probably can't paint that picture for people. And yeah, you can probably teach people, which is something you're doing now. But when they tell you, hey, your neck, which is, as a boxer, and I'm not, but I know enough to say that it's probably one of the most important parts of your body, to be able to move. Where your head goes, your body goes. And to hear that you're not able to perform what you love doing, well, what was your first reaction besides, I just can't do this anymore or whatever? What was like your lowest of low? And then how did you get out of that and start saying, you know what, I'm going to do this again? Oh, hold on one second. You got a little mute. Go ahead and try. Sorry about that. Homer, go ahead and go again. Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
All right. When they first diagnosed me in the end of my career, I had fought Jake Rodriguez, and I lost feeling in my legs. I had lost feeling in my legs after I fought Camacho. But when I was training to fight Jake Rodriguez, I kept having issues and I couldn't understand it. And when I went into the fight, and I knocked him down in the 5th round, and then next thing you know, I went to hit him in the 8th round. I went to swing, and my legs just gave out. And then when they tested my legs, there was no reflexes. Everything was, like I was paralyzed. And so they rushed me to the hospital. And when they found out that I kind of knew that I had an issue, then they were upset because they were like, you're an idiot. You would go into the ring knowing that you have an issue. So they immediately suspended my career. And so then next thing you know, this is 95. I'm starting to go through a divorce because, I wasn't there mentally, physically, and so next thing you know, my wife and I we saw things differently, and I was ready to call it quits, and she was ready to call it quits too. So we divorced, and then I needed something to do with all the anger that was there. And I started saying, they can't tell me I can't fight. I've overcome everything, and they can't tell me I can't fight. So I decided back in '97 that I was going to lie to doctors and act like I could that I could feel my legs, and that I was able to make everything happen right. And I went to 5 different doctors. I got 3 of them that said I could fight, and those are the ones I went with.
Did you understand like what you were about to do to yourself, and how lucky you are that you didn't sustain life paralyzing an injury? Because, someone who has a 3-level fusion and has the same thing you got going on in your neck, I have in my back. I didn't listen either. I mean, they told me I wouldn't walk. They told me I would never squat or bench press ever again. And the hell I won't. And I just said, I'm not going to listen to you. I'm just going to go ahead and do it anyway. And that stubborn foolishness, how did your relationship with God get you through the spiritual part? And then what in the hell is inside of you that got you through the physical part?
I really don't know. I mean, I just felt that God was going to protect me. In my mind, I thought that God could use me more on the front line, battling guys, doing, because there have been many guys. One of the guys that I'm friends with today, we went to a fight in North Carolina. I was supposed to fight a guy. He was supposed to fight a guy. My guy didn't show up. His guy didn't show up. So he was 165. I was 135 at the time. And they said, well, you don't get paid unless you fight. And they said, your guy didn't show up. His guy didn't show up. So your guys are off the card. I'm like, dude, I'm in North Carolina. I need to fight. And they said, well, I mean, his guy didn't show up either. I'll fight him. He goes, well, he's 165. I was like, I'm good. I'm good. And I knocked him out. And then
Wow.
2 months later, I knocked him out again.
Oh, that's great.
But I love the guy, man. Like I said, we become friends. So I thought that was how God was going to use my career. I didn't know that he was going to open doors for me to use my dramatic side, teaching drama. That's how I met Mike.
Really?
A church youth group. He worked with the youth group that I had called SWAT, Students with a Testimony. And we performed the gospel in a unique way. And, just it's amazing how God intertwines things. And then all of a sudden it's like, bam, I look at it and I can see it from a different perspective. And like, oh, that's what God was doing. At the time, I didn't understand it.
It's interesting. If you guys, I know Olivia's got a couple of you. If you have the chance, go over to Homer Gibbins Boxing Gym. Do yourself a favor and follow this guy. I just gave him a big like, and I was there earlier today, and I got to give him a follow too. But head on over there. Please do me that favor, and let's get him some follows. There's some great stuff on the site, including some of the fights and photographs. My gosh, the one that immediately strikes me before Olivia gets to hers is you there with Donald Trump. Looks like, oh gosh, what was that, 90s? Yeah?
95, 96 area.
Yeah, I was going to say it was close to like right when I went in the military. I followed Donald Trump for quite a while and read a lot of his books. So I tend to be able to look at him in pictures and go, okay, well, I remember him from this time. So what was that like? How was it meeting Donald Trump? And have you seen him since and met him since he's kind of got a job promotion, so to speak?
Yeah, he was here in Zebulon, but the line to go see him was crazy. And I didn't have the hookup to get inside as easy. So, but that night that we got the picture, we were talking about the Camacho fight, and because I fought on for Trump, it was Trump Towers that we were promoting the fight, and we fought at the Thomas Mack Center when Evander Holyfield fought Ray Mercer. I fought Camacho, and Trump said, he goes, why? He goes, there was 4 rounds that I gave to you solid. There was 4 rounds grade Camacho solid. It was 4 rounds, depends on what kind of fighter you like. That's where you go with. He said, me, I like the one who brings it. So I was on your side. I thought you won the fight. And I said, well, I truly appreciate that. I said, I thought I won the fight too, but I was so privileged to be in the ring and go the distance with a legend. So I was happy either way.
Do you think there were any politics in that fight?
There's a lot of politics.
Yeah,
for that fight and every other fight. They didn't. Homer Gibbins versus Pernell Whitaker would not have been a big matchup.
Yeah.
Camacho versus Whitaker, that was the one they were trying to make, would have been a lot better of a pay-per-view fight. That would have drawn people's interest. 2 left-handed guys, 2 smooth fighters. But it would have been a boring fight. You need somebody like me who's going to make it happen.
Yeah. So when we talk about the politics, right? So would you say the Machado fight was your biggest fight? Maybe not the most important to you, where you had to prove yourself, but overall, as far as a card, is that the biggest fight of your career? Do you think, or is there another? So okay, so it's the biggest fight of your career. You got a lot into it. You got the butterflies probably for the first time, not from fear, but you're like, dude, I'm fighting a legend. You said it. You said it yourself. Maybe you could say, no, man, I was calm as a cucumber and I ate a steak before. But you get there and you're seeing the way the rounds are going. You got to be telling yourself into that fight that you're leading on the card, and the judges are hopefully leaning towards you in this decision.
Well,
first thing that runs through your head when you hear it didn't go your way.
Well, I knew going into the fight, if I didn't knock him out, there was no way I was going to win. Just I watched the way the boxing industry is. He knocked out Todd Foster, the Olympian, after I fought Todd Foster and I beat him on ESPN, and I should have gotten the fight with Camacho first, but that's not the way the politics of the game work. Todd Foster got the opportunity to fight him. He knocked Foster out. So everybody looked at me and they said, "You're not going to make it past 3 rounds." I'm like, dude,
Watch me.
never underestimate me. Never. As I say, when the bell rings in the 12th round, I'll still be standing and I'll still be fighting. And I was.
Yeah. I think that's when boxing, it became too predictable. When you were looking at who was fighting, you could just say, you know what, I know the way this is going to go. And that's got to be tough on those fights. But there's so much to the sport that isn't what's at the top of the card. There's all the other people who are trying to make it, trying to get their records right. So there's a magic behind it. And I always appreciate it because I'll be honest with you. I didn't get punched in the nose until about 12. And when I did, I realized I didn't like it. And then I got punched in the nose when I was 16 and 17. And then finally, because I was the short runt, I went in the military and I shot up to 6'4" and came out of the military at 225. People didn't really fuck with me after that, mess with me after that. And so what about you? I mean, I see you when you were younger, you're fit, you're wearing flamboyant, 1980, 1990 clothes and all this, but that's the guy you don't mess with because he's secure in himself. Did you have a chip on your shoulder? Because you seem like a really sweet guy, dude. I mean, seriously, you don't seem like you got a chip on your shoulder.
I had an artistic flair because I was an artist. I'm an artist. So,
like my sweater, you would have worn this. You want one?
Like your sweater.
I'll send you my wife's. She doesn't want to wear it, so you can have hers.
Never gonna hear the end of it. I'll wear it every day in December just for you.
You
dear.
should go ahead, Homer. I'm sorry.
No, yeah. I mean, I treat it like I want to be seen as a guy who is respected. I want to be respected. I want to do things. Teaching people who have Parkinson's boxing. I'm involved in their lives, and we love one another. I always wanted to be everybody's friend. So I never wanted to be a bad guy. Very seldomly do I ever get in a fight outside the ring. But it did happen because there are some guys that want to test you.
Of course.
Then when I turned professional, I had a guy. I was at a club because we were promoting the fight. We were going to fight at the club in a few weeks after that. And so I was there, and the guy's like, "Hey, Homer Gibbons, I think I can kick your butt." And I was like, "Yeah, you probably could."
Yep. What do you got to prove? What do you have to prove?
It didn't matter to me. And he's like, "See, I told you, he's scared of me." I said, "Hold on now. I'm not scared." I said, "But this is the way it would go down. Me and you would get in a fight, and then I would smack you."
That's right.
I said, "Then you're going to sue me."
That's right.
"And then I'm going to have to pay you for the butt whooping I gave you." That's not smart.
No. There's a lot of guys in special forces that I've worked with, whether it be SEAL teams, MARSOC, British SAS, it doesn't matter. And a lot of people wonder, well, why don't the community guys go out and put tridents on their truck and Delta on their tattoo all over their bodies, and a lot of it's because of that. It's because of the unnecessary attention. But there's always some a-hole who wants to prove his own insecurities and inequities at the sacrifice of another person who's actually done something with their life. And so I don't talk about my service very much. I don't wear stuff that screams, "Hey, I'm military." My set is that way because this is a show. But when I go out, I'm in a windbreaker and sandals, and I'm looking as meek as possible because it's just there's people out there like that. How did you handle the celebrity? Because you got recognized, I'm sure. People saw you. I mean, my God, man, you've won so much. How do you handle fans? And is it something that you enjoy and kind of dive into, or do you like more of your privacy?
I love to be, if I'm in a crowd, I'm the center of attention. I will, I'll do everything I can to be a party. But then as soon as I'm done, I go home and I just need to be by myself for about an hour, 2 hours just to relax and,
Yeah.
But I've learned being around a lot of different style of people. The most dangerous person in the world is the one that you don't expect. It's a
That's
little
the truth.
quiet guy over there just watching the whole time, doesn't say anything, just watching everybody else.
That's the truth, man.
That's
That's
who you
the
got to
truth.
watch out for.
Always. Always. I remember getting in a fight with a kid, and his name was Brody. And he was a scrawny little thing. And he was 6th grade, 7th grade, something like that. And I was picked on mercilessly because I was just short, fat little shit. And so when you get that age and you find somebody who's weaker than you and you're not a strong enough person, you kind of pick on them too, right? So I picked on this kid back and forth, and I would just talk trash in PE and make fun of his legs. And, I didn't know any better. I was stupid. I know I didn't like to get picked on, but I'm like, I'm just going to do it. And the man, I swear that there is no way that this kid had a lick of fight in him. And he kicked my ass one day. I just said something. He turned around and just beat the living snot out of me. And I learned that lesson pretty quick is I'd rather be the guy who's getting picked on with that guy and you guys stand shoulder to shoulder against the bullies. But it was a life lesson. When you look at your go ahead.
You push a guy back to the corner or push a guy back to the wall. He's only got one way out, and that's
right.
through you.
Yeah.
So, I try not. I try to leave people alone. I have no desire to fight anybody. I do get in the ring every now and then now with the kids at the gym.
That's great.
And they're amazed that I'm 54 years old and an old guy, but you throw, and I don't like getting hit, so I make you miss, and I make you pay for missing.
Yeah, I'm not going to box you. I fight guys like you from about 700 yards away with a 308. That's how I fight you guys. Listen, there's no reason for me to fight fair. I mean, like if life's on the line, 700 yards away, that's the way I'm going to do it. Or I'm going to find someone bigger. Liv, I'm sure you have a bunch of. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We have some questions, Livy.
Yes, Joseph wants to know if you have been inducted into the Boxing Hall of Fame.
Oh yeah, oof.
No, not yet. That's a hard one to get into. Just like the Georgia Sports Hall of Fame, it's a very hard one to get into as well.
Griffin Spalding Athletic Hall of Fame, Georgia Sports Hall of Fame nominated.
Yes.
You have your own boxing gym. What's it going to take to get into Georgia boxing? I mean, is it just a matter of time?
I don't know. People have wrote letters because I've had a number of people tell me they wrote letters. It's a popularity contest, and I'm not really into the popularity thing. So I try to be a person that everybody respects, and I try to love people where they are, and they love me. So I don't know what it's going to take to get down there.
Well, there's a band that we have who does our intro music, and they do a lot of our music in Georgia, in Still Point. And we got to somehow find a way to get you two together. And
that'd be cool. Make a video or something.
Yeah, you take some of your scenes and clips of your fights and put it to their music or something. They're really good friends of the show, but they've got a huge following in Georgia. And listen, we've got a lot of fans too. I mean, we could do a campaign, man, to see what we can do to get you in because your record is ridiculous.
There's a friend of mine that from this area who fights MMA, but he wears pink into the ring because of me, because he watched me growing up as a fighter.
Yeah.
And he did a small. His name is Shane Horton. He did a song for me called the Homer Gibbins song. I guess I didn't send it to you. I got to send it to you.
Yeah, send it to me. I definitely love it. And this isn't. Listen, hey, we go and keep growing and getting bigger. Maybe one day we can do what it takes. I mean, you had a chance to meet Governor Kemp, right?
Yes, sir.
Oh, that's some guy.
Me, Vander, and Otis Nixon. My friend Otis Nixon from the Braves.
Yeah, I know Otis Nixon. I'm a sport. Like if I wasn't doing politics, my wife and I'd be doing sports. You should listen to this lady when it comes to hockey. It's ridiculous. She knows. I know she's quiet, but that's because she feels bad about the sweater. What else do we got, Liv? Do you have anybody else who? Love you, sweet pea. What? Anybody else?
Hang on, call Ethan in here real quick.
Any other questions?
Yes. Amy wanted to know if you're southpaw.
Yeah, he's a lefty. Yeah.
No, ma'am. I'm conventional right-handed.
I thought you were both lefties. You said you and Whitaker.
No, Hector Camacho and Whitaker are both southpaws.
I see what you're saying. So, okay, I got you. Okay, so I thought you were left. That's my confusion. That's great. Liv, what else?
Yes. Frederick wants to know, welterweight is between lightweight and middleweight. What's the difference in pounds?
There's about 7 pounds difference. Like lightweight's 135, junior welterweight's 140, and then welterweight's 147. The weight classes are about 7 pounds difference, but you have guys that come down from 165 to fight 140, or 165 to fight 147. So, you're still getting a bigger fighter.
Can we increase the severity of topics and dive into some of the not so glorious things, if that's okay? Because I want to ask you this question, and it's important to me. I do a lot of work with veterans, veteran crisis line, traumatic brain injury, anxiety, depression, and PTS, and I've worked with thousands of veterans and over the years, and it's just something that I'm passionate about. And obviously, your work with Parkinson's and youth is something I want you to talk about in detail, because I know people want to hear it. But it's not really a but. What I do know is that the human body can take about 50 G's of impact before it's done. And whether that's an explosive or whether it's an impact or falling from a height, 50 G's is about it. You take 50 G's, you're done. 30 G's can put you in a world of hurt. The accident that I had in the military, impact was somewhere between 27 to 32 G's, and I broke just about everything. And the reason I ask is that I've seen a lot of people come back from overseas with TBIs, and it's a pretty common occurrence. And you put yourself in redundancy of constantly being in situations where there's explosives, or you're constantly in combat, exchanging fire, things like that. That TBI is just more and more frequent. When you look at boxers today and what boxing used to be, how do you want to see boxing change? And when we're seeing a lot of the older stars have obvious impacts from this sport, do you think there's a way to make it safer? Do you think there's an obligation that you older guys have an obligation to help the younger guys understand what they're walking into? I want to get your perspective on this. And you can say you're full of shit, man, I disagree with you, or I agree with you.
No.
It's up to you.
No, first of all, thank you for your service.
Yes, sir.
I truly appreciate that. When it comes to fighters, if you're born to be a fighter, there's nothing that's going to stop you from fighting.
Mm-hmm.
It's just in you. If you don't go into the ring and do it, you're going to do it at a bar. You're going to do. You're just born to be a fighter.
Mm-hmm.
That's who you are. Now, as far as doing the safety things, the more safety things that you try to do, you're going to take away from the sport.
Right.
There's a lot of things that they could do to protect fighters. When a fighter goes into the ring and he's fighting the guy that's 145 pounds the night before the fight, but then the night of the fight he's 165. You can do the same day weigh-ins. Of course, I don't want to weigh in the same day.
Right.
I want to rehydrate overnight. But you could do that. There can be, the heavier gloves. One of the biggest injuries in boxing is, you're using your hand injuries. You break your hand. I broke my hand in the middle of a fight. I was fighting this. I ended the career of Carlos Alberto Martinez, Mexican Olympian, 96 Olympics, and I was fighting because they were looking at me thinking. It was in 2000, and they said, we're going to get Homer, he's old, he's over the hill, and you put his name on your record, and you'll propel you up the ladder. Well, they didn't tell me the script, so I beat him to death. That was his last fight. He didn't fight anymore. I ended his
Jeez.
career. So,
Jeez.
and I broke my hand in the third round, but I still have 7 more rounds to go to win the fight. So I fought with a broke hand, and I only lost two of the 10 rounds. In a 10-round fight, I only lost 2 rounds. So how do you stop that? How do you?
You don't.
I mean, if I would have told the doctor that I broke my hand, they would have stopped the fight.
Right.
But I had a contingency clause in my thing that I was supposed to fight Arturo Gatti. And then when they found out I beat this Mexican Olympian and broke my hand and still beat him, they paid me $15,000 to back out of the fight.
No way.
Oh yeah.
So okay, so that's clear, and
let me give you this.
Yeah. Go ahead.
He was supposed to fight Oscar De La Hoya
No
next
way.
after me.
No
So
way.
if he would have fought me and lost,
That's right.
that would have pulled him from $1 million fight. So they paid me $15,000 to get out of the way.
Did you have a choice? Is it like if you don't take that, then your career's over? Like
No, I hired an attorney up in New York, Roger Haber, and he was Jim Gustin, Tony Soprano's attorney, and he told me, he goes, Homer, if I can't get you to this fight, he goes, if I can't get you to this fight, you ain't got to pay me nothing. I said, okay. So he calls me up and he goes, this is the way it's going to go. Either you accept them, or they're going to pull Arturo off the card and say that he can't fight. And I said, well, what do you mean? I mean, it's a contract. He said, well, this is the way they're playing it. He says, it's a 3-party contract. You sign the contract. We signed the contract, but Arturo never signed it. I'm like, man, they've been promoting this fight
bullshit,
for
right?
2 months.
Yeah.
That's bull. He said, well, this is what they're saying. He said, they're going to give you this money if you just back out. I said, well, what would you do? He said, I'd take the money or else they're going to pull him from the card. So you take the money and you walk away. And that's the business of boxing. That's where the ugly business of boxing is.
And listen, I've heard the story. So I mean, it's a good segue, I guess, into and Liv, if you have questions, just chime in here, please.
I will.
All joking aside, the mob has been closely, I'm putting this delicately, associated with boxing, especially at the lower levels of boxing. But I think we can all say that there's been some heavy influence in some of these national and world heavyweight fights and world-class fights. How big was the presence of the mafia during your days? I mean, did you ever have somebody come up and said they made you an offer you can't refuse, or told you to go down in this, in a certain, round, or any shit like that? Any stories of the mob?
No, I mean, I've heard stories of stuff like that with like Hagler and Leonard, but it's easier to buy a referee. It's cheaper. You can buy a referee for $1,000. You can buy a judge for $1,000. You don't have to pay that big money. Why buy a fighter when you can buy the judges? They're cheaper. So I mean that's why you watch a fight on TV and you're like, there ain't no way that guy won. There ain't no way. But the judges had it for the other guy, and you're like, how can it be? They're paid. Follow the money. My good friend, my good friend up in New York, he just Sonny Francis. He was 103 years old in 2020. Just passed away, in 2020, and just was a great guy. And just talking to him about some of the stuff for boxing, and hearing how they had their hand in certain things. I mean, it's like say back a long time ago, they try to buy the fighter.
Yeah.
But nowadays, the guys know they don't have to buy the fighter. They can buy, the judges. They can buy the referee.
Yeah.
The referee's crucial in a fight. If you got a cut over your eye or something like that,
Yeah.
boom. Next thing you know, they're going to stop the fight.
Same thing's true for the NFL. It's just,
Oh yeah.
It feels that way sometimes. I'm like, what the shit is going on? Hockey, it doesn't seem to be as bad, but
Baseball, there's been a few.
Baseball at times, but that's just because Angel Hernandez is a douche plow. But most of the umps are good. But in hockey, they're good. They are horrible in the NFL. I mean, they are just horrendous. So here's something, and then I want to go into some politics with you, if that's okay.
Sure.
Pound for pound, and I know it's like somebody going to me and saying, as far as speech writers for presidents, Matt, tell me the best one. I'm like, oh my gosh, what do you want? You want pentameter? Do you want context? Do you want, fluidity? Do you want poetry in motion? There's for writers, or if you're going to talk about the best snipers in the world, there's a long list of what makes the best. But let's just keep it simple. Pound for pound, who's the best fighter to ever put on gloves?
Sugar Ray Robinson.
Sugar Ray Robinson. Why?
He fought a number of weight classes and just was just an awesome fighter. I mean, I give respect to all the old guys that fought. Those guys to me they opened the door for what we got at today. Muhammad Ali. I love Muhammad Ali, great guy, and I got to be friends with him, and I loved him. And when I first met him, he told me, he said, when I was fighting, he said, "You didn't like me, did you?" I said, "No, sir. To be honest, no, sir, I did not." He goes, "But you love me now, don't you?" I said, "Yes, sir. Yes, sir, I sure do."
How many impersonations do you do? Because you have the gift. I've heard you do several different voices that you emulate the people you're trying to mimic, and you do it quite well. Because that was a fairly decent Muhammad Ali. Do you dive into that a little bit and do impersonations?
I did. I have, like I told you, I have that drama background. So
yeah,
and I wanted to be a comedian. I was just afraid people would laugh at me.
Well, yeah, that's funny. Listen, you're good with your hands. I'm good with the observation skills, so I can pick up on things on people. I have a human lie detector. It's pretty good, but I also can pick up on people's mannerisms and what they do, and it's interesting. There's so much about you, man, that people probably don't know and should. So you told me the best boxer. Now tell me who was the most overrated. Is that Mr. T? Is that Clubber Lane?
Yes, sir, Mr. T. Me and T.
Mr. Clubber Lane, man. I pity fool.
He watched me fight a couple of times. And it was funny because we were sitting together, and I said, "T, you think I need to shave my head as a mohawk so I can look mean?" He said, "No, man. The way you look like that with that pink suit on, you look mean enough right there."
Tell you what, boy, you look good. I love him, man. He is a class. B.A. Baracus, Clubber Lane, Mr. T, just a man. I grew up with him. I loved the A-Team. Yeah, Livy, go.
All right, couple of questions. Jane on Rumble wants to know, what does your father think of your career? Is he awed and amazed of what you've done since the original Headbutt?
No, well, my father was there with me the whole entire time. He's like being on a podcast right now. He'd be like, "Why do people want to talk to you?" I don't know.
Sounds like my dad. God, I hate my father. No, I'm just kidding. Just kidding. That's funny.
I mean, I love my dad to death, but I mean, that's like when he's the one who started wearing pink into the boxing ring, because I was all about the American flag, and he wanted me to wear the pink trunks. He said, you're a big Ric Flair fan, so this is a way of just bringing that into the boxing world. And I was like,
it's perfect.
I have to do that.
That's perfect. Instead of picking Randy Macho Man or The Undertaker or, Hacksaw Jim Duggan, you get to wear the pink. Well, at least you wore it well. I mean, who's going to tell you different, right? I mean, it's like they got to get in the ring with you if they want to go ahead and call you a softie. You know what I mean?
Well, There's some psychological values that one of the doctors was telling me that he's like, pink is actually a subtle color, and it actually is a calming color. So what you're actually doing to your opponent is calming them. I said right before I put them to sleep.
That's right. Right. God, love it.
Couple more.
Oh, you got a couple more? Go ahead.
Yeah.
Yep.
Frederick wants to know if you've done any underground fighting, so to speak.
Well, the first rule of underground fighting is you don't talk about underground fighting, so he can't.
I'm well aware of that. No, I have not. I've thought about it, but then again, like I say, I have 7 children, so I don't want to do anything that takes me away from them. And to be able to get in shape and to be able to prepare so I can really give them the best that I've got, it will require too much of my time.
Yeah. Simpler time now. I mean,
I'm 54.
Imagine.
I'm old.
You're not that old.
Easy, dude. I'm 50. Don't freaking volunteer
you're not
that shit.
Old.
That's not. You're not that old.
I look older than I am. Much older than I look.
You should wear the sweater. It'll make you look younger. Hi. Oh, come on. You can say hi. You're wearing the elf jammies.
Oh.
You're wearing the elf jammies. Look at those. Those are awesome.
They're just adorable.
Those are so
We should
cool.
get Ethan in here to say hi.
Oh, man. Looks just like her mama. So saw those pictures earlier.
This one looks like me actually as a kid.
Yeah. Yeah. She doesn't have you. She doesn't. That's awesome, man. So, the election that just took place, you've got
yes, sir.
You got Donald Trump and you got Kamala Harris, and how do you feel about what just took place? You've been through some elections. You're like me. You have a scratch and a glimpse of Carter. You have a memory of Reagan. You've seen Clinton. You've seen Bush Sr. You've seen Bush Jr. You've seen Obama. You've seen Biden. Your parents told you all about Ford and told you about Nixon and Kennedy. What are your thoughts on this MAGA Donald Trump thing, and what's your whole take on it?
I love Donald Trump. I think he's awesome for the country. We need a business-minded man in the office, and somebody who's going to make deals, make things happen. As soon as he was elected, things started to change. Other leaders in other countries all of a sudden respect us now. Before they were laughing at us because Biden's a joke. Kamala Harris is a joke.
Yeah.
But Trump is a man of respect. I have nothing but respect for him. I mean, when I was boxing up there in New York or New Jersey, Atlantic City, I mean, just the way people approached him, the way people respected him. Up until he turned into a Republican, everybody talked great about him. I hope that I'm racist enough one day to get the Muhammad Ali Award. That's what I'm saying.
Isn't that interesting? And Rosa Parks. Don't forget Rosa Parks too.
Yes, and
yes. let's not forget the gentleman who gave it to him, which was Mr. Jesse Jackson. So, and Jesse Jackson didn't have a problem and seemed too uppity when he took Donald Trump's money in fundraising, which essentially for his entire campaign.
Well, what
politics.
you have to understand is
that's
that
right. Good for
when
you.
we're taking money from the white man and giving it to the black man, it's not really taking money from the white man.
Hey, yes, I tell you, feel it, my brother. It reminds me of Coming to America. It's like, I beat you. He's up there and he's talking. He's like, yes. Thank you for the donation. How much is it? $51.99.
$51.99.
Thank you, Cheryl.
Her name's Cheryl Royster. She said, Homer Gibbons is a hero in my home. He led my children and youth group.
Oh, dude. We should have you. Listen, all other people who like him, you can go ahead and give us your money too. We appreciate it. just kidding. That is really nice and sweet, dude. So you hear something like that and you're like I'm always surprised. When people are like, oh my God, I can't believe, you did that, or you try to do something nice for people, is like, I don't like the spotlight. I mean, I know I'm doing this show, but honestly, it's not really like accolades aren't my thing. You give back. I try to give back. When you have someone who says something like that, as powerful as that, how does it make you feel? Because I want to clarify, because of course it makes you feel good. But there's people who give back one of two ways. They give back because they're trying to make up for something that they feel they owe. And then there's people who are trying to emulate someone that they know and learn leading out, right? Like when I give back, it's because I'm trying to fill something inside my soul that's missing. But I also surrounded myself with people who are very, very giving and forthcoming with gifts and their money and trying to help people. For you, why?
It's a sign of respect. I think people are showing love and respect to me, and I greatly appreciate it because that's what I try to instill into my Parkinson boxers is love and respect.
Tell us
I
tell
love
us about that program, will you? Will you walk in and explain it to us?
Well, a friend of mine was talking to me about him having Parkinson's, and he's like, "We really need." When I was down in Florida, I took this thing called Rock City Boxing, and so I started learning about Parkinson boxing, and then I said, he said, "Let's talk to the Griffin Senior Center, and let's get you in there and see if we can start a class." So we did. I started the class, and we grew from 4 people until we got like 17, 18 people right now. And I charge $5 a class because it's not about the money. It's about changing their life, changing their perspective, and being a part of them. And I love those guys to death, and they love me, and that's what I want to do with my life.
How? Like I'm watching the video on this. I'm putting it up on the screen for people so they can see this. So calisthenics, chair calisthenics, doing some dumbbell flies, doing some curls, little 3-pound weights. Is there anyone who tries to join this class and is like, money is hard for some people, or do you have people who do you think that don't participate because of money?
I've had a couple people that couldn't afford it, and I told them, I said, well, don't check in at the front. You come to the back door, I'll let you in.
Let's do this. Next time you have somebody, I don't care how many people you have, let us help with it. And as our show wants to help. And if you have anyone who is struggling financially, this is important. This is great work, and we want to give back to it. And you just let us know, and we'll take care of their annual fee for the class. And you've given enough, man. And you're doing God's work, and I would appreciate it if you would take us up on that, because we would love to sponsor a few people going through this, if that's okay.
I appreciate it, greatly appreciate it. Like I say, those guys, I mean, I went and saw Tony Capitino in the hospice just yesterday, and I mean, I love him to death. And when I was leaving, he said, "Don't forget about me." I said, "I'm here, aren't I?" He goes, and his wife Beth told him, said, "Tony, how can he forget about you? You and Homer are both unforgettable." And that just, that melted my heart, and like I say, I kissed him on his head. He goes, "You're always kissing me."
Well, you did you did wear pink, so that's the old adage.
Yeah, he told me, he goes, "I don't trust you because you wear pink."
So here's it's when you lose a part of yourself, and this is having multiple friends who are amputees from combat. When I lost my back, I mean, I quit. I just gave up, and I just let myself go down the path of gluttony and sloth, and just started getting into the sins of life where I just didn't care anymore. And it's so important. People with Parkinson's, they what's hard about it in my eyes, and I don't have it. I haven't been with a lot of people who do, but I can imagine that you're literally losing part of yourself slowly, and you're losing capabilities. And cancer is a horrible and just devastating disease. But if it takes you, it's painful and horrible and yes and all those things, but at least you can be gone without having to deal with something, and you lose your hands, or you lose your ability to think, like Alzheimer's, or you lose feeling, and you're not able to do the things that let you be happy. And you have to ask yourself the question: how do people find the ability to cope with constantly losing a part of themselves? And this was my father's struggle when he had his stroke. Thank you so much, Thomas. He had a stroke, and then he couldn't read anymore. This man read a book a day. One of the smartest men I ever met. And he just could not find meaning in life anymore. It's like, I can't read. I don't want to be here anymore. So what you're doing is you're giving people not only a replacement for something that's missing, but you're helping them build confidence and helping them build strength. And I just think it's so admirable, man. And all the things you've accomplished in life. I've read your resume. I've taken thousands and thousands of notes on you. And I feel like I know you fairly well. This is your greatest accomplishment. I don't care how many fights you won. Is you're giving a part of yourself so someone else can feel. And I think that's a beautiful thing, man. So congratulations.
I truly appreciate the words of kindness and encouragement. Those guys, I mean, they think that I'm there for them, and the truth is that I'm there for me. They pour into me encouragement, watching Marsha get out there and box, and and we laugh when we joke around, and they all talk about how you're crazy, and then I've got John who's struggling because he's not what he used to be, and we've lost people, and then I've gone to funerals that people who were boxers for me, and I go to their funerals, and then their son comes up to me and goes, "Can I just hug you?" And I'm broken, I mean, because he said, my dad loved this, man. He loved it, and he loved you, and so I love you, and it's amazing. That's more than I ever, I never thought that God would lead me here, but I'm so thankful that He did, and opened my eyes to a whole different chapter of my life.
Guilt trips work, sir. I know you're married, and I don't know if you've ever figured this out yet, but guilt trips most assuredly work in the institution of marriage, because Olivia finally put on her sweater. And,
I'll pay you back later.
And we can go ahead and do this. So Homer, now that you've done the boxing, right? You've done for most of your life, 6 years old. I mean, my Lord, you've done something probably in every single thing you wanted to achieve or accomplish. Every failure that you were afraid of, you've probably navigated through. And now you're doing a calling, something that you think it's rewarding for the people you do it with, and then it's rewarding for your own soul and spirituality. What's next, man? What if you have the dream of all dreams, what do you want to do next besides be an amazing father who has a huge family? My God. I commend you.
Yeah, how old's your oldest and how old's your youngest?
My oldest is 32, and my baby just came in. She's 8. I have 32, 19, 17, 15, 13, and 8. That's the ones at home.
Wow.
Yep.
And then my wife's right there next to me. She's beautiful as well.
Yeah.
That's your wife?
Yeah.
Oh, dude, I thought she was one of your kids. She looks super young.
That's what.
I'll let her know.
Holy cow.
Shit. We just got a $5,000 tip from somebody named Homer's wife. Wow, that's awesome. Congratulations.
Seriously, I thought it was one of your kids.
So, a beautiful family, man. A gorgeous family. Yeah.
It's funny because I was joking around with somebody one time, and they were saying, "Oh man, your wife looks like she could be your oldest daughter's. One of your oldest daughters." I said, "Well, she should. Her and my daughter went to school together."
It's
just kidding. My wife way older.
It's no. I robbed the cradle too, dude. I got it.
I'm not that much younger than you.
But you're young enough. The older we get, the better it sounds, but it didn't sound great when you were like just fresh 17 and I was like 23.
18.
What did I say?
17.
18.
I was 18.
Yeah, you were just from at 17. You had just turned 18 years
Actually,
old.
I was a month shy of my 19th birthday.
Okay, whatever. You know what? Fine. I forget it. Forget it. The story's no good. And, here I am trying to sound like P. Diddy.
My wife was 23. She was 23 and I was 30. And people would say, what do you think about dating Homer? And she's like, no, I don't date somebody that's old.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you know what? I'll tell you what, maturity-wise, I'm glad because she was much more mature than I was. So she helped me get there.
Same here.
Give me your message to young boxers. What do you want to? I mean, you have obviously this isn't unbeknownst to you because you have your own gym and you've got kid. It is your own gym. It's just not named after you. It's your own gym, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and you help. Is it underprivileged or just youth or all youth? It's anybody who wants to come and learn.
It's the same thing. $5 a class. Anybody who wants to come in. I work with kids that are 8 years old, or kids 6 years old. I've got teenagers that come in. I've got grown men that come in. Anybody who wants to learn the art of boxing.
Did you put away? Did you just make some really good investments? I mean, we got to make this thing huge, man. We got to. I mean, I know $5 a class, but I want you to open these things up all over the place. I want to find a way how someone like you can tell their story and inspire others. How you got to let me know how I can help. And if you need to come on once a month and raise funds or something, but let's get this thing going.
Yeah, I would love that. I really don't know. I just that's like people ask me why do I, because a friend of mine's got a boxing gym in Atlanta. He's like, dude, I charge $25 per day a class. I said, well, I live in Griffin, or I live in Zebulon, which is outside of Griffin, and my gym's in Griffin. They can't afford that.
Right.
I said, and I've got kids. I got kids that can't even afford $5 a class. They're struggling for that. And I tell them, look, if you want to come in, help me clean up the gym, you can work out for free. If I did it for money, I'd stop. I have a full-time job. I do, I work medical office buildings. I manage 6 medical office buildings, and so I make okay. I'm not rich by any stretch of the imagination, but I think life's about what you invest.
Yeah.
Invest into other people, and that's my goal.
You got it. I'll tell you what. There's a couple of people that I want to put you in touch with in regards to public speaking events, and you've got an affable nature about yourself, and you're very direct and to the point. But you're funny, and you do very well on the lecture circuit and going around to corporate jobs and doing
Cool.
motivational speaking. What's that?
Mike, Mike Lynch.
Yeah, the guy who hit on your wife, who hit on my wife too. Yeah,
he just said he had a crush on your wife.
This guy needs to put it in his fucking pants. I'll tell you what.
He just said he had a crush on your wife at one point.
I'm just like, geez, Mike, are you trying to get killed? I mean, let's see. You've got a guy who literally buddies around with SEALs, and you got an ex-boxer. Good luck.
No, our church youth group. I had this group called SWAT, Students with a Testimony.
Uh-huh.
And Mike was one of the guys that was part of our group, man. And we took them all over the world. Well, not all over the world, but all over the country, performing the gospel in a unique way through drama and skits. And Mike just, I mean, it's crazy how God used, my dramatic self to open the door for me to work with kids. And, I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing, to be honest with you. I love investing in people and being a part of people's lives.
Did you through all the things you went through, do you ever suffer from depression or anything like that where you're just like, it's getting too hard or it's getting too down or you hit those peaks and valleys? You ever had any situation like that?
Well, yeah. I mean, everybody goes through ups and downs. But what I try to remember is that, life has seasons, just like every year has seasons. And when you're going through the summers of life, understand that the falls and winters are coming. It's going to get cold. And then when you're going through the cold, understand that spring and summer's coming. You just got to hold on. But everybody goes through those sad times in their life.
Yeah.
But my wife won't allow me to have a pity party, so she'll get over to me and tell me real quick.
Yeah,
Get
mine
over it.
doesn't. My wife will like. I had a bad day at work. I'm like, oh gosh, sweetie, let's go and get the heating pad out. Let's go. I'll go ahead and cook dinner. And I have a bad day, and she's like, rub some dirt on it and get back in there.
That's how I treated our kids, though.
I know
That's the way I raised
so
the
true.
kids.
And I'm just like, honey, can I get a hug? And she's like, next week. You're all out of hugs. You already had one last night, so
Not that bad.
it's pretty bad.
There was one other question.
I think my wife and your wife are kin.
Yeah, it sounds like it. It sounds like it. No wonder why Mike keeps hitting on both of them. Go ahead, Liv.
Joseph wanted to know if Felix Trinidad and Oscar De La Hoya were in your weight class.
Yes.
Okay. That was a quick,
They were in my weight class, just from the promoter's standpoint, out of my price range.
Most overrated boxer. I got your
overrated boxer.
Yeah, come on.
That was Floyd Mayweather. Now, as far as promoting himself, he did a great job.
Yeah, he's a defensive boxer.
Just like Jake Paul. Jake Paul, you hate him and you want to see somebody beat him to death, so you tune in to a scripted fight.
He definitely was a defensive boxer. I'd say, I mean, like I said, I don't know enough about boxing, but he would always seem to wear out his opponents, and he would stay away from their strengths and get him in a position of getting a little tired or whatever, and he was selective in his shots. And it's not my style of boxing. It's like the same thing in hockey. You can go ahead and double team the forward and go ahead and check the blue line and trap the puck, and it sucks. It's a shitty form of hockey, but it wins games. But is that why? He's just technically there's a lot of offense to his games, or it's just opportune, or is he just boring?
He's boring.
Yeah.
I mean, his fights are boring. I'd much rather see two guys get there and engage, and see what happens.
Okay.
But there's some beauty in that too, because as he gets to his 50s, he's not going to hurt as bad as I do.
Yeah, right. Well, he's got all that money. He sleeps on a mattress full of money. So, like you said, he's a hell of a marketer. So here's the rapid fire fun questions, and then we'll go ahead and move it on. The best boxing movie ever made. Most realistic. It gets it right. It gets the smells, the taste, the emotion correct. Which one is it?
You have to go with Rocky. I mean, Rocky inspired so many people. Rocky came out in 1976 when I came, or 1978, I think, when I came on the scene, and that inspired me to keep going.
Yeah.
Like I say, Rocky inspired so much other things, but it's still a feel good movie. One of the most feel good movies ever.
But the fighting is completely unrealistic. Right.
Oh yeah, I mean you can't take a beating.
You can't hit a guy like that. Right.
No. I mean, but then again, you look at Arturo Gatti and Mickey Ward.
Yeah.
They beat each other to death.
Yeah, but some of those shots are like the sound guy is going through the head of lettuce when he's hitting. It's like these are some hard shots, and my dad would watch Rocky and he'd be like, "What a bunch of Mickey Mouse bullshit." I'm like, "What? What's wrong?" And he's like, he's like, those guys would both be dead outside of a quarter of a round the way they're hitting each other. It's just, but it was good. What's the most realistic movie? I mean, which one gets it right from a realism standpoint?
The fighter about Mickey Ward. It was a good fight film. The movie about James Braddock.
Cinderella Man. Yeah,
that was a good movie.
Yeah, like I say, I tell people all the time. Boxing. There's so many things I would love to see a movie that really depicted what goes on behind the scenes. All that stuff. That the corruptness of boxing.
Yeah.
You know, like when I won my title in '92, I was told that they said, "Who you want to fight next?" I was like, "Number one or number two,
Yeah.
or one of the other champions." And they're like, "Well, no, you can't do that. You got to fight this guy who's 30-30." I'm like, "Why?"
What's the point?
Well, he only pays $1,000. Well, his 30 wins came against, number 3, 4, and 5. His 30 losses came against 1, 2, and 3.
Right.
If I beat him, I beat a bum.
Right.
If I get beat by him, I am a bum.
Right.
Business.
Yeah, the cost of you losing is probably worth a hell of a lot more not to fight. Dude, may I congratulate you on your choice of cups, sir? These are the best, dude. These are there's nothing better. I like people spend. Listen, we're not cheap. We spend, but these things are like you get 10 of them for $10. I'm like, they're the greatest thing in the world.
Absolutely.
They're huge. Some people say they're the greatest cups ever.
Huge. So Max Baer, it's interesting you bring up Cinderella Man. So I'm one of those people that I remember a lot. It's somewhere in this big, thick ass size 8 head. But Max Baer, I believe, is who fought Braddock, if I'm not mistaken. Mm-hmm. And he was really, they did him dirty. Like, they did him dirty. Danny Dietz, who was in the movie with Mark Wahlberg, SEAL Team, Marcus Luttrell.
Lone Survivor.
Lone Survivor. They did Danny Dietz. He was crying and shit in that movie. And he's like, his family's like, Danny wouldn't be crying. You're not going to get a SEAL who's going to start crying in the middle of a freaking firefight. So they did him dirty in that movie. But Max Baer wasn't this ruthless, I want to go out and kill and dislodge people's brains type of shit. He just hit really, really hard. If they were going to make a Hollywood movie about you, what would they get wrong?
Oh, I don't know. You have to show the crazy side.
Yeah.
So you have to show the sweet side. So
yeah.
If they look at I've got 7 children by 3 women. So that's always
there. You go.
Sketchy.
Yeah, you're Donald Trump in a boxing outfit. I get it. Right. So isn't that funny the way that doing the Trump dance? Yeah, I mean, because that's really what it is, right? Like when they do these Hollywood movies, you got to have a villain in these real life stories. But unfortunately, I mean, that's just everything I've read on Max Baer is he wasn't this. He treated Braddock's wife like crap, and at a party said he was gonna kill her husband and all this stuff, and none of that's true. So it's just interesting when you see movies like that are supposed to be real life and.
Well, I mean, and you have to understand too, people are trying to promote themselves. I mean, right. I did the same thing when I fought Chad Broussard. Mm-hmm. I come down, act like I was big and tough, and I say stuff like, either you're going to quit or I'm going to kill you. I didn't mean it.
Did you write that? Did you write that yourself in your drama classes, or did someone write that for you? It's very poetic.
Chad Broussard said, "What's wrong with this guy? I think he stays up all night thinking what he's going to say in the press conference."
Right. Me, Homer, gonna kill you dead.
On the same note of movies, if they were to make a movie about you, who do you think would play you?
Oh, gosh, that's a great question. Good for you, Liv. You're coming in at the end of the interview with a good question. Who's going to play you? If you say Brad Pitt, I'm going to disconnect the call.
No, it'd have to be somebody ugly.
I don't. Hold on.
Well, how tall are you? That's going to be the key.
5'7".
I got it.
7. Back then I was real small, so I had big shoulders, but my waist was like 30 inches.
Who's the guy? Country for Old Men Live. Country for Old Men.
James Brolin.
Yeah, James Brolin. Josh Brolin without the hair.
Really?
Yeah, Josh Brolin.
Yeah.
But I had hair when I was younger. It looked,
Yeah, but you don't have hair now. You're like, it's okay. There's nothing wrong with it. It's fine. But
can I say that there's a really uncanny resemblance to Leroy?
He does look a little like Leroy.
When you take off your hat and glasses in the pictures, I was like, looks a little like Leroy.
Yeah, but the reason why I was saying draw. Let me see. He does look like Leroy.
A little bit, yeah. But I was like, wow, it looks like Leroy.
They're saying you're ugly.
No, I don't think. Hold on, let me see if I can find this.
Oh, that's funny.
Here's what I was thinking. Hold on. See if we can find it. This is why I was thinking Josh Brolin. The picture on the right. It's close, man. You can snap your finger. I mean, what I'm saying is that you can imagine him bald. And I'm not saying you look like a super villain, but you could. Yeah, he doesn't look like Thanos. What I'm saying is like the CGI. Look at Brolin on the left, and there's a little bit of help with him being bald. I think Brolin would do a great job. Older in life, not when he was younger. I don't know who he looks like. He looks like Machine Gun Kelly from the Rocky movies, but thinner in his youth. Biggest takeaway, Homer, in your life when it comes to boxing, we understand that it can build pugilism, can build discipline, it can build a tough exterior. It can it turns you into a man, I would say. What is it that this generation's missing? Because this generation is just, if you look, men are more effeminate than they've ever been. And it's not about machismo. It's not about how many women you sleep with. It's not whose butt you can kick. But there's something about masculinity that is somehow now labeled as toxic. And I believe the true toxicity is not allowing men to be men and women to be women and allowing them to be themselves. What do we need to get back on track?
I've got 5 daughters and I've got 2 sons, and I want my sons to be men. I want my sons to understand that they need to be confident. Your job is to protect the woman. Your job is to take care of the woman. Your job is to treat the woman with respect. At the same time, with my daughters, your job is to allow a man to take care of you. That's what you're supposed to do. Right. God made us different, Mm-hmm. That's the way it is. And this whole trying to blur lines and stuff like that, I'm sorry, the Democrats can't even tell you what a woman is, but they want to tell you that Kamala is the first woman vice president. What?
Yeah. That whole manufactured candidate was. I think in boxing they probably have it where they bring some guy and is like 9-0 who hasn't fought anybody, and he's just a manufactured person for you to fight, and you just. Yeah, it doesn't mean nothing. He's nobody. Well, that's Kamala, man. I mean, people are just. I love all the liberals. Are just like, oh God, Kamala, please come back in 2028. I'm like, are you freaking? Yes, please.
Yeah, please do.
Please have Kamala Harris run and have Hillary Clinton be her VP. Nothing would be better.
She was a horrible candidate. She was the worst candidate years before.
Yeah, she was the worst candidate almost ever.
She was like, all of a sudden they're like, oh, she's the best we got. If that's the best you got, you're screwed.
Yeah. Well, it's time to turn the page from ourselves. What? What page are we turning, considering you're in the whole book? You're on the front cover. How are we going to turn the page? I just didn't. The whole campaign. I mean, I could sit here and litigate. I do it all the time. It's so refreshing to talk little sports with you, and pink colored outfits. Last question I have. If you were to go back, there's 2 questions. If you were to go back and talk to young Homer Gibbins, what would you tell him that you didn't know then?
Go on to college and get your art degree. It's a lot more profitable.
Yeah. What did you want to do? And what's your medium when it comes to art? What do you think you would have?
Well, I mean, I won the National Art Symposium in 1988, 89.
Okay.
With a clay sculpture of an old man.
What?
Yeah.
Do you have a picture? You have a picture of that? Can you send that to me?
Yeah, I'll send it to you.
You're like, look at the sweater. Don't let the sweater fool you. I'm straight. I just like to see it.
I just got the upper half of it when I was doing it in art class. from the yearbook. I used to have it sitting in my living room, and people would come over. Even when they were judging it at the University of Georgia, where the art symposium was, people would come by and they'd be right before the thing started. I went through with some baby oil and touched his face, so it looked real, and people were sitting there talking to my statue.
No way. So what? Okay. So you know what? I'm going to leave it that because I could sit here and say, well, why aren't you doing it now and stuff like that. That's whatever. I think it's a great answer to the question.
I got one.
Yeah, go ahead, and then I got one.
Do any of your children box?
Ooh, that's a good one. Gosh, Liv, what the hell? Why aren't you talking the whole time? You put on the sweater and you start killing it.
Because I'm confident in the sweater.
It looks good. It looks good.
My son has gone to.
1 second.
1 second, Homer. Hold on, Homer.
Several.
Hold on.
These kids got.
Hello?
Hold on 1 second. Homer's trying to catch up here. Hold on. Homer, you're skipping.
Smart. And like I told him, I said, son, you're too smart for this life. Phone or.
Yeah, just wait 1 sec. You got to let your phone catch up. It's okay. All right. So, hi, caller. We lost Homer. He's going to call back in. Who are we talking to? Hello. Hey, Homer, there you go. Caller, can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you.
Okay, I got you, Homer. Caller, can you hear me? All right. Caller, call back. Somebody was calling in to talk to you. We heard Mark, and most of it was digital, so we had to reset. Can you tell us again about your son? Do any of your kids box?
Josiah, my 17-year-old, is very talented. Could make a great fighter. Just hand-eye coordination is off the charts. But I've got him in debate. I make all my kids play the piano, and he's just too smart for this life. So I don't want him. I don't want him to live this life. It's too much for him to. I mean, he's got too much talent to do that.
Did you say he's in debate?
Yes, sir.
Let him know when he wants to face the title.
Oh.
Yeah. Anytime he thinks, just tell him to bring his lunch and a ladder. Lunch and a ladder. I enjoy debate. See, I wouldn't fight your kid because you probably just wreck me, but I'll debate your kid.
Man, this kid, he's amazing.
Yeah.
Like when he was like 8 years old, he wanted a Rubik's Cube, so we got him a Rubik's Cube. He learned how to solve it. Now he can solve it in like 15 seconds.
Yeah.
Mathematically minded, man.
How old is he?
He amazes me. He's 17.
I still can't solve a Rubik's Cube.
Mike Lynch says he'd kick your ass, Matt. Oh, okay, Mike. Mike, you haven't even been on the show yet, so why don't you try to do it first before you go ahead and judge that some 17-year-old is going to do it, okay? There, big guy. You may hit on my wife, but you may not underestimate my skills. Mike's going to be on the show. How's he going to do, Homer?
Well, Mike's great, man. I just love this kid. I'm amazed that we are friends here so many years later. I mean, 10, 20 years later, we're still friends.
Yeah.
And, he calls me up, we talk. I give him advice, dealing with, girlfriends, ex-girlfriends. And it's amazing, like I say, the respect that he has for me and the respect I have for him.
That's awesome. Liv, any other questions?
Yeah.
Oh, hi. Somebody's on the call. Who are we talking to? Hello.
Oh.
I don't know. I've tried to bring him in several times. Hello, caller. Can you hear us? All right. It's not working. I don't know. Homer, you get last word. We do this on our show where you get 1 minute. Folks, by the way, show goal is at 351.21. We are $15 short. We've hit it 8 months in a row. Okay. Caller really wants to talk to you. Hi, this is the Don't Unfriend Me show. Who am I talking to?
Hey,
Hi.
I'm Mike Lynch's mother.
Hi, Mom.
Carol.
So go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. You guys go.
I'm Mike Lynch's mother.
Yes, ma'am.
And I'm a friend of Homer Gibbins.
So you're I want to talk to you about your son. He keeps hitting on dangerous people's wives. And I don't know whether he has a death like wish or something, but he needs to stop. I mean, we're kind of wondering. Oh, Mike is embarrassed now. He said, "Oh Lord."
As we say in the South, bless his heart.
Now
you need to ignore that.
We try
to. You need to ignore all of that. Bless his heart.
Now you're in Georgia, ma'am. You're in Georgia. I take it. What part of Georgia are you in?
North Georgia.
North.
And the mountains. The beginning of the Appalachian Mountains.
Yes, ma'am. We're in the middle of them, so they're right outside our front door too. So we've got them all over the place. What do we need to know about Mike and Homer? Mike says that Homer's like the greatest thing since sliced bread. Well, as mom, what do we need to know about both of them?
Well, let's start with Homer, since he was your guest of honor.
Yes, ma'am.
Today. There are maybe 5 people that I could count that made an impression on my children when they were growing up. I don't even know if I could count 5, but one of them is Homer Gibbins.
Mm-hmm.
He is one of the most, Homer's the guy that walks the walk, and he, not only is he cool, he's a very cool man. Obviously, look at what you just interviewed. He has an incredible background and legacy in boxing, and he meant so much to my children in the church they grew up in, directing a drama group called the SWAT Team, SWAT. Mm-hmm. And students with a testimony. And my children, who were already really cool kids,
mm-hmm.
they got such a great view of life, being part of Homer's leadership and the drama team that he led. And they actually did perform drama, as you might have been able to tell from Homer's interview. He's a little dramatic, and I think a lot of boxers probably are.
Yeah, I picked up on that. Besides his gaudy outfits, he definitely has a personality, which is great.
Yeah, tons of fun. We were part of Homer's life when he was getting married, when he first met Amy, his wife, beautiful wife that looks like his daughter. And I mean, and it was so exciting to see that relationship grow. He's just a cool guy, and he had my children over to his house. When you walk in the front door of his house, and you see all of the photographs that are hanging on the wall, signed photos of Muhammad Ali, Evander, etc., you're like, okay, I'm in the home of somebody that might be important, and I might not should have a conflict with him. And I mean, he's so cool. He had not even had his first child at the time that we first got close to Homer. I'm so grateful he was part of my children's life. And I was so excited to watch the interview tonight. You guys are so blessed that he was part of your show.
Yes, ma'am.
He is a legend. He's a legend. He's a legend not just in the Southeast, but he's meant so much to so many kids and people that have made an impression and will make a difference worldwide. and well, nationwide for sure. What a great person to have had on your show today. I'm so happy that y'all met him and you were able to feature him. What a coup for you. And I'm so grateful that Homer was part of my children's lives.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Do you have some words for Carol, Homer? I mean, this is like
I guess it's Cheryl.
A Cheryl? It's not. It's not
Carol.
Yeah. Whatever. It's Christmas. It's close enough. All right. Sorry, Cheryl. Now let me guess. You spell that with an S or a C? Because that's the next time I'm going to get my balls broken.
It's CHERYL, and I'm Cheryl Royster, and I donated a moment ago. I actually have a different name from my son. I'm the one that sent the little sweet note about Homer being a hero in my home. And it's all true.
Well, we appreciate it, first of all, and thank you for the donation.
Thank you, Cheryl. I truly appreciate it.
Yeah, Homer,
thank you for having confidence in me to work with your kids.
We love you, Homer. We've always loved you.
Love you too.
And I'm so grateful for what you've done for my children.
Nothing better than that.
No.
I mean,
I'm thankful to be in their life still. I'm honored.
So, Cheryl, now that we've done this, can you please give me something, the most embarrassing moment that you can remember about your son, Michael? He's a cocky little shit. I'm just letting you know. And I need to take him down a peg or two because he thinks that, he's all that. We're going to find out on Monday.
Yeah, are you going to tune in and watch that show?
You better watch that show.
I've been working with him.
So what
well, of course,
tell us something funny.
Tuning in. I've got so many stories, but y'all don't have that much time. But let me think of a really good one. Okay. So immediately what comes to mind, Michael's older sister, Bobby, her name's Barbara. We call her Bobby. Bobby and I used to do girl stuff and do manicures. We're painting each other's toenails. And Michael was maybe 2 or 3. And he sticks his little feet out and he says, I want to get a pedicure. Okay. And so we paint his little toes. And then he's like, and my daughter was in ballet and she was in a tutu and she's dancing around the house. He said, I want to dance around the house. Okay. So we put a cute little tutu on him and he had cute little painted toe. It's the kind of stuff that you hold over your child's head and you're just wait until you're going to get married. Just wait till the rehearsal dinner.
Do you have a picture? Because we need to see that
photograph.
picture.
We would love a photograph if you have it, Miss Royster.
I have it. How much would you pay me?
Well, I got $51.99 that you sent that I can just give it to you right back. Mike Lynch.
It will be another gift, a Christmas gift.
Mike Lynch has 4 messages for you, ma'am. Here they are. No, shut up, stop. Homer threatened Matt. It's not going to work.
Poor little. Well, he's Michael. He's actually called Michael by his mother.
Yes.
Michael doesn't really have control over everything his mother does.
No,
does he?
No, you're an independent woman. You have every right to make your own decisions.
Never do.
He didn't think that I was smart enough to know how to call into y'all.
I think it's awesome.
How about that?
I think it's awesome. See, the thing is, man, is that I am all about humiliating people because I think it's a fantastic way to build relationships.
My goodness, I love you.
Yeah, you too. You too. By the way, he keeps hitting on my wife. What do you look like, ma'am? So I'm going to hit on Mike's mom. So, jeez.
Well, I look like an older mother, but I'm not the most hideous sight you've ever seen.
Well, you got a great voice and a great personality, and that makes up for a lot of things. Thank you for calling in, Cheryl. We really appreciate it.
I love y'all, and I'm loving your show. Thank you, Michael Lynch Jr., who has hooked me into y'all. I love it.
Well, thank you. We try to keep the P's and Q's down a little bit. I'm a little lippy and I get a little mouthy sometimes. You let me know if I get it out of line. All right.
Mike just said I'm going to be single forever because of this.
Yeah, you're welcome. Well, you're welcome.
Okay. Wham.
Yeah. I love her. You know what? Forget your son. How about you come on the show? You come on the show. Mike, stay home.
I should probably be fun. By the way, I was an ABC reporter, but let's don't hold that against me.
Now, you've got the voice for it, so that's interesting. Now, you're from Northern Georgia. Did you ever spend any time in Marietta, by chance?
I am a Georgia peach. I was born in Atlanta.
Okay.
On Peachtree, and lived in Atlanta my entire life.
Okay, so
So I've lived all around the metro. So I've
the,
lived in Marietta, but
okay, then here's a question for you, because you might say yes. Does the name Spear, Speer, or Peacocks mean anything to you? The Peacocks or the Spears?
I went to high school with some Spears.
So we need to have a conversation. Those are all my relatives. So we're big. And my grandfather was Spear. He moved and married the Peacocks. They're a very wealthy family in Georgia, Marietta, Atlanta, Marietta, Georgia area. And most people know one of those two names. So you very well might know some cousins of mine or something like that. Or maybe Mike and I are related. You never know.
We're all related, aren't we?
Well, of course, if we want to break it down to theology, yes, we most certainly are. But it's
hey, Matt.
Yeah.
Lee Spears used to own McFrugal Auto Rental. I don't know if he's kin.
Is it Spears? Is it plural or
Lee
Spear?
Spears.
Yeah, no, those are fake. Those are fake Spears. Those are people who are ashamed of their German history and Americanize their name. And let's face it, I mean, we're coming in 1940. Probably not a good idea to be a German in the United States, and I would change my name too. But the Speer are from Germany. The Spears are the Americanized version. So there's not many Speers left. In fact, there's only a couple of us, and none of them are guys except for me. The name dies with me.
The name dies with Ethan.
Well, that's what I meant. I forgot I had a son.
Whatever. Yeah, you have a son.
Whatever. Okay, so I forgot the kid. The mailman, he's the mailman's kid anyway, so it doesn't matter. Cheryl, thanks for being on. We love it. Thank you for calling in and embarrassing your son. You better call in on Monday, too.
I'll be happy to.
All right. Well, God bless, ma'am.
Thank you, Cheryl.
Happy Thanksgiving. God bless you all.
Happy Thanksgiving to you, too, ma'am.
Thank you.
Well, Michael kind of stepped in it, didn't he, Homer? Yeah. Homer, you get the last word. It's a full minute to talk about anything you want. You can message.
Oh, boy.
I'm not, you know what? I'm just going to let you stew on that, Michael. I'm going to let that emanate and flow and marinate over your life a little bit. We're just going to let you hold on to that until Monday. I'm not answering the phone, yeah. I'm not doing it. Show lines are down, Mike. Mikey, Michael.
Junior.
Yeah.
Liv's got the sweater on now. It's over.
That's right. If you would have a sweater. Homer, you've got a minute. Anything you want to talk about? Talk to youth boxing, or you just talk to it's up to you, man. It's your minute, and we're going to give it over to you.
All right. I'm Homer Gibbins. I teach boxing at the Griffin Martial Arts Studio in Griffin, Georgia. I also teach punching Parkinson's at the Griffin Senior Center. For people who have Parkinson's and those that just want to work out, that are elderly. Whatever I can do to help you, please let me know. I'm a man of respect, so I try to take care of you. That's it.
Outstanding. Appreciate it very, very much. Livy, you have something, by the way.
Did we want to say something about that, or wait until tomorrow?
Did I say something? Rumble rant. We just got a 1925 Rumble rant. I don't know if you went ahead.
There's 25 from Debbie.
That just came in?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, go ahead and put that in.
No, I already put it.
Okay. So you did that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep.
And then I think Mike Lynch gave 15. He said it showed up on my Venmo chat, but it may not showed up on email. That's possible. But anyway, just wanted to let you know. You got 1 minute, Liv, and then I will add some closing comments, and then we'll shove off.
Are we talking about what came in through chat, what just happened?
I have no idea what came through
then
chat.
You just didn't know. The federal indictments from Chump were dropped.
Yeah, we can
classified documents
mention it real quick. Yeah.
Yep. It just came through.
So that's what, 56 of the indictments that have fallen by the wayside, and all of them will be gone soon. So
anyway, that just came through. So
who cares?
exciting news. We'll talk about in depth tomorrow.
Dude, yeah, tomorrow's going to be like, guys, we got a lot to talk about. Trump is on fire. Like, to see Canada and Mexico literally put their tails in between their legs and just absolutely just bow down, and we're like, please don't spank us, sir. Please don't withdraw USMCA. Don't put us back against that Bill Clinton NAFTA. Fucking Trudeau, what a pansy. Homer, I want to say, Liv, did you have anything you wanted to add?
Yeah, I want to say it was
Go ahead.
a pleasure to meet you. Thank you so much for coming on the show. Really
Thank you,
appreciate
Liv.
it. We would love to have you back sometime.
Yeah.
Awesome. I
And-
would love to be back.
Happy Thanksgiving to you and your family.
Happy Thanksgiving, you guys as well.
So, Homer, I will say the following. I have, it's not just the show. I've interviewed a lot of people. And I have, at one point, I think we're close to 32,000 interviews I've done in retail, interviewing people for various positions, executive management, VPs at one point. I actually had the honor of interviewing a CEO as part of his journey up the company. I've met amazing people, from 4-star admirals to Secretary of Defense. I've briefed Secretary of Defense, the Secretary of the Navy, know a lot of hockey NHL players, and I've had to brief or do presentations in front of tens of thousands of people. And it's not about bragging. It's a matter of knowing that I am a purveyor and a connoisseur of conversation with people. And I will tell you, even Vince Papali, who I thought was an amazing conversation after he did one of our seminars, who is the Philadelphia Eagles walk-on with Dick Vitale, who got to play special teams and a little bit of receiving for the Philadelphia Eagles as a walk-on, just some kid who was a bartender. I am very intrigued at the conversation that we had. At no time did you put yourself forefront to others. And I don't think I've ever experienced anyone who is as selfless and ever present to ensure that the people around them are discussed in a positive way and reflected as a deep concern from you, whether the people you're working with Parkinson's or the youth or even the boxers. You didn't speak ill of anybody tonight. You didn't say one negative thing about anyone. And that characteristic that you possess, I will change my comment, is your greatest asset. And it's not your boxing ability, and it's certainly not your color choice of clothing. But it is your greatest gift, and I want to commend you on it, sir, because it's something that I've never been able to achieve, but it's a beautiful thing for sure. So I want to say thank you for gracing us with your presence. You are a pretty amazing human being.
Thank you, my friend. I greatly appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll see you back soon. If you guys, where can they find you? Over on Facebook? Do you have a website, anything like that?
You can find it Facebook. I don't have a website. Homer Lee Gibbins on Facebook. The one you want to see at Instagram, Homer Gibbons on Twitter. So I don't. It's mostly Homer Gibbons because I don't know everything else. I don't want to keep up all the passwords.
Okay. Well, we'll let people know, and if there's anything we can ever do for you, let me know. And thanks so much for staying with us for the entire night. It was awesome, man, and we really, really appreciate it. So I'll have this cut tomorrow, and it'll be up all over the podcast. All the other shows will be able to see it live right now. So feel free to share it out with your friends, and don't be a stranger, and please come on back, okay?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right. God bless, my friend. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Homer.
All right. Bye-bye. We're going to hear some no music here. Let me just do this. We're just going to thank you, Homer. We'll see you soon, my friend. Just kind of wrap it up. I want to thank you for letting me have most of that.
I don't do interviews. You know that. I'm horrible at asking. I can't even freaking ask you guys questions correctly. There's no way I'm going to interview somebody.
Your
serious?
questions were on point, though. Your questions were actually really astute and solid.
But it's a follow-up question to what you asked, and they're very short. There's no, I don't interview people like you do. There's no way. I do not have that gift. So
well, you're good at it. And
I'm just the face, and I just sit here and look pretty.
Well, I disagree, but I appreciate it. I think that more of that is definitely needed. I love the fun of it. I love how the conversation got better as it went on because other people got involved, you know? So I think
Yes.
it was great. I want to thank everybody for hitting our goal again. We just got right there, and thank you for that. We'll be back tomorrow. I will have an AM show tomorrow. I will have a PM show tomorrow. And then Thursday, we're taking it off and enjoying some Thanksgiving. I'll let you know about Friday. But it was fun. It was a good time tonight. We'll have to do it again.
If you do Friday, you're solo because that's Christmas decorating time. So I'm going to be.
Gene says, you're busting on Homer's attire while wearing the ugly Christmas sweater.
That's the whole point.
That's the whole point of an ugly Christmas sweater. So it's not, we'll be wearing these more often than just now. I mean, wait till we get the cocoa out and get the stocking cap. We're going full joy on this. I love this thing's comfortable
It's
as
very
hell.
comfy.
I mean, I'm going to have a hard time. I'm going to have to wear this out because it's a very comfy sweater. I mean, it's high material. I mean, it's not a shitty sweater. It's a great sweater. It's ugly as all hell.
That was the point.
Okay, Thomas isn't, I'm not going to read that. Folks, thanks for watching the Don't Unfriend Me Show. We'll see you next time. And God bless. Take care of each other. And please go over to Homer's site on Facebook. Make sure you give him a follow. We will have Mike on the show on Monday. And we've got some other things in the work in the future. Yep, I agree. Olivia did a great job. All right, everybody. God bless. Have a good night. Say goodbye, Liv.
Night, y'all.
Good night,
See
everybody.
you tomorrow.
Bye.
Adjusting transmitter output.
This is the Don't Unfriend Me Show with your hosts, Matt, Leroy, Amy, and Olivia. Geopolitics, military analysis, and election coverage. Coming to you live on all major social media
Hey,
channels
Siri, turn
at
off the
The
lights.
Dumb Show. Honest, direct, unfiltered. We can agree, we can disagree. Just don't unfriend me.
That was funny. Great guy.